Hiya and welcome to Creative Crafts with Kel. I'm Kerry or Kel. So today I thought, so basically what happened was last week I asked in my team group on Facebook if there was anything that you wanted to know, or any of my team members wanted to know, or had questions or queries about with regards to crafting. And one of the things that came up was masking. So I've talked about masking before, and this is the Stampin' Up! Masking paper, and it can be used in loads of different ways. So obviously in one of my previous videos I think I masked and then blended over the background so that the image itself stayed white, and that's one way of masking. But what I thought I'd do today is a different type of masking. So I'm going to be using the Planted Paradise photopolymer stamp set today. Now this one is reversible, so you don't have all of these stamps in this case. This just shows that you can use this side and then flip the stamp and use that side. So they're actually much larger, and it just means that you can use this detailed side or this solid side there. And we're going to do a little bit of masking with the plants. So let's get the trimmer in, and we'll get some white, this basic white cardstock, and I'm going to cut this one down to 13.9 in length and 9.5. Is that even right? Yes, 9.5 by 13.9 centimeters. And I thought what I would do is we'll just play around with some masking. So I have mounted some stamps already, so I'm going to use this pot here, this pot here, and this pot here. Now with stamping and then masking, whatever you stamp first and then mask over is going to be at the front, so it seems a little bit backwards, and you sort of have to think layer upon layer. So I'm going to look at putting this pot here, this pot here, and then they're going to be at the front, and then I want to put this pot behind them. So that means that I have to stamp these two first. Now the colours I'm using today, I've literally just grabbed some neutrals and some greens. I got Copper Clay, Lost Lagoon, Old Olive, Garden Green, Grey Granite, Granny Apple Green and Crumb Cake, for no other reason than there were some greens and I quite like the Copper Clay because of a clay pot, and these are just some neutrals. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these colours, but they're the ones that I've got out for now. So we are, let's have a look, we'll do the Grey Granite, and we'll do the Grey Granite pot there. Now I've just realised my mistake, but I'm okay at the moment. Because these are quite solid stamps and they're photopolymer, I'm going to bring in my foam mat, but I'm okay. So that's my front pot. Now I do want this behind, so I just sort of wanted to measure out where it would go, and I will use Crumb Cake for my other pot. Is that even covered? There we go. So roughly there, and there we go. Now I've already cut out my masks. This is using the masking paper. I stamped it in black. It doesn't need to be perfect because we're just using it as a mask. I then just stuck it down on my hand or my t-shirt a few times to take a lot of the stickiness off so that it doesn't rip our paper. And then I'm just going to pop that down on there. And now also when cutting a mask, you cut on the line so that there's no halo effect or at least as less as possible, the least amount possible. And again, I've got another mask there, and we'll put that on there. You can see that I've used these ones before. And our next, I'll close these up, our next pot, so this means that we're leaving these ones are going to be at the front, so we'll see all of these. And I'll use the copper clay. I'm going to use copper clay, which is super duper juicy. Just wonder if I want to stamp that off. Maybe not. What I'm going to do is, sometimes if your ink pads are really juicy, you can just push them with the back of a spoon and push the ink further down. And sometimes that just helps not get such a bubbly image. Yeah, that looks a bit better. So I want them roughly grounded at the same place, and we'll do that. Now there is going to be some sort of halo around the pots, because obviously it's a different level, it's a different surface, but if you just give it a second and you push it in, it's not too bad. Okay, and potentially, because it is photopolymer, I mean, you could, am I going to do this? Go over it again, give it a good push, you know, brings it a bit back a bit more. Now the pots at the front, I'm not sure that I'm going to have any leaves coming out of those yet. So what we'll do is we'll put our big pot mask over the top, and I think I'm going to use garden green for the leaves. I'm going to use this leaf here. Like I said, these are reversible, so you could actually do front, back, detailed, not detailed. It doesn't really matter. But and then if you want to look at that, oh, it's even got a bit of pastel on it, and you can see that that's covered that, so it doesn't look like they're overtaking. And then if you want to take them all off, you just do that gently so that it doesn't rip your cardstock. And you can see that these two are at the front and your big pot's at the back. Now obviously if you wanted to put flowers or leaves or anything like that in these pots, you would stamp your pot, stamp your leaves, stamp your pot, stamp your leaves, and then cover up both and then do your background. So that's another option if you wanted to do leaves and pots at the front. I'm just going to do, let's have a think. I'm going to close this. Okay, so this one is just going to be a really basic thank you card. I'm going to grab a new favourite of mine, the Friends for Life. I'm just going to use the thank you there, and I'm going to do that in Memento. We'll grab that in Memento Black. Okay. Okay, so there's our thank you card, and we will jazz that up a bit. I'm just moving all my things out of the way. All right. So I think what we might do is copper clay layer on a white card base, maybe a little bit of twine. So let me just grab some copper clay. There we go. got some copper clay cardstock. So the copper clay is from the 2023 to 2025 in colours. I'll get that bit there. And they're quite neutral colours. I really like them. They come across quite autumnal. So we've got a white card base. Everything everywhere today. So we're going to score this at 10.5 centimetres, and we'll just burnish that, and then we'll do this one at 10 centimetres by 14.4. And that can be our layer. Let's have a look. That's not straight, that's why. Let's straighten this bit up, because I was wondering why the layer didn't look right. And that would be why. Okay. So, now we have our card layer. Still doesn't look the right length. Let's have a look. Looks a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, that's why. It should be 14.9. Right, let's cut another one. I'll use that on a different card base. So this is just a standard thick basic white cardstock A4, and to cut in half you cut at 14.9 centimetres on the long side, and then you score at 10.5, and now that should be right, she says. So we'll burnish that, and that's better. Yeah, so that's our layer, and then we have the layer again. And we could put a little bit of twine on there. So let's have a look. Where's the twine? Now we do have crumb cake and we have grey granite, so we could, in theory, use any of these. I think I might do black, just to bring in the black from the thank you. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of regular sellotape and stick that down, and then I just like a little crisscross, and we will snip that off. If I could get my hands around it, there we go, and another little bit of sellotape, and that will hold that in place there. And then we shall do that. So let's get that stuck down. Right, so we'll stick, I think I might have this on dimensionals, that might be nice. A few dimensionals just to pop it up. There we go. There we go. So we'll put that on. Oh. And don't rip your cardstock like me. There we go. That'll do. And then I'm going to stick this down on here, and that's our first card from using the masking technique. Very basic. It's just remembering that the image that you stamp first is going to be at the front. So that's one of the masking techniques. And there was one that I did at the weekend, and I've shown a team member a little bit about masking that I actually really just enjoyed myself doing it. I think I've posted that one already, but I'll do it again now. So let's see, what's this? I've just grabbed a scrap out of my, this one will do. So this is not the thick, this is just our basic white regular cardstock. I'm going to do that again at 9.5 by 13.9. And with this one, we're going to get some more masking paper, and you could cut that down to size, but I'm not going to bother. So all I'm going to do with this is rip, and I want to get some jagged edges. I want it to look ripped. Is the idea. So that's gonna go somewhere there. What I actually used at the weekend was just some other low tack tape. You can use either or, and I just ripped it down the middle, and I reused it over and over. So sometimes you don't want to have the same rip, so I might use a bit of both. So this is really low tack, so I can just stick that straight down. However, this is stickier, so this I would definitely stick down on something else first, whether it be your skin, your jeans, your top, what have you. And I just put that, I grabbed a blending brush. What's on this? That's some sort of greeny blue. So we could do, we'll grab the Lost Lagoon that we were using a moment ago, and we'll pick up some of that colour. Now start off the page and go on lightly, and obviously you can add more, you can't take it away. So I like just take my time and it never looks like it's building that much colour until you actually take the mask away often, unless it's a very vibrant colour. So just keep on adding layers until you're happy with the colour you've laid down. Now when it's like this and you've still got your mask on, it's quite nice if you wanted to add any images to it. So at the weekend I used the Spotlight on Nature leaves, but today I will use the Friends for Life. I'm going to use this little leaf, maybe some hearts, and there's our leaf. And there's some hearts. So we'll get our leaf, and I like to do it tone on tone, so using the same colour as what we've blended, because it's always going to be that bit darker. And then when you take the paper away, you have the ripped or torn paper look. Yeah, and then I did that in layers. So I'm going to grab my colour wheel just because I can, and look at triadic colours. So Lost Lagoon, a purple and an orange. We could go one of the new in colours. We'll go Peach Pie. Will go nice, and Fresh Freesia. Yeah, Fresh Freesia. Okay, so they're the colours I've gone with for this, and I just used the colour wheel. Although this is a little bit different to the one that's in the catalogue. In the catalogue they've just got it flat, but with the colour wheel you just can look at the analogous colours, which are all colours that are similar or next to each other on the colour wheel, and they'll always go together. Complementary are always opposite each other, and the triadic are sort of in a triangle. And sometimes if I've started with a colour, so that I don't have to think, I just have a look in the catalogue at the colour wheel, or the colour wheel I got at the onstage event. So let's go. I'll go in now with Peach Pie, I think, and let's have a look. We might go in, and I'm using the same masking paper. Let's have a look. Just trying to find my, that one will do. Okay, and so that it's not the same, I could use this one, so it's completely different to the others, and just pick that up and take the main bit off, start off the page and come onto it. And like I say, you won't see the colour initially because you haven't got it the white showing, but just trust the process. And you can obviously always take a peek, see if you're happy with it. Just don't move it too much so that the mask stays in the same place. Okay. And we like to go right up to these edges so that it picks up the colour and shows that torn edge nicely. I may have left too much of a gap between my Lost Lagoon and my Peach Pie, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so that will do. And let's use our hearts, and we're just going to again tone on tone. Okay, and then we'll remove that there, and then we can come in and let's have a look. Let's see how high up this is. Yeah, that will do. So that's our Peach Pie done. So now we're going on to our Fresh Freesia. And let's see if I can find that one. Might do. Yeah, that one should be fine. Okay, and we pick up our colour. We start off. Okay. And we go on gradually. Fresh Freesia might need re-inked. I'm going to forget that, I'm sure of it, and then have to go back and do it the next time, but never mind. If you go to the edge of your stamp pad, you find that that's where a lot of the ink is, because we automatically seem to go to the centre when we're actually stamping using them. So I often dab around the edges. And there we go. And we've got that down. And then I'm just going to clean off my leaves and I'll use these again. There we go. And then you've just got a really cute background. So that's another way of using the masking technique for a nice little background with tone on tone stamping behind it as well. If you wanted to keep this a one layer card, you could just stamp a nice greeting, maybe in bold, in black. We might do that. Should we do that? Yeah, we'll do that. I haven't used this Good Friend stamp yet. I've used the dies. I don't think I've got the cards to hand that I made at the weekend. So you can see this friend is really large and lovely. So I just want to make sure, I'm going to give it a quick clean to try and get any of the residue, the manufacturing residue off of it, and we'll give it a go. If you've got a stamping platform, that'd be another good way of doing this stamp, so that if you wanted to go over it again, I'm just going to give this a stamp and see how it goes first. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to give it a good clean first, and then I might use my, foam mat is what I think I might do, because I don't want to get this far and then ruin my card. Let's give it a go. Where's my foam mat? There it is. Let's give this a go. Have I got any card to hand? Let's see. Yeah, okay. That's okay. I'm happy enough with that. I think the tip with this one is you can see that the black ink has gone into the center. Now what I would say is don't press too hard when you're pressing down to stamp, because otherwise you will get that impression from the center of it. So take your ink pad to your stamp if it's large. We'll get our masked background and we'll place that down, and don't press too hard. Let the weight of the block do a lot of your work for you. And there you go. Right, so that's that bit. And what else could we say? I might do the thank you friend. Okay. And then with that one, we could use a black background, or we could do a black layer with a coloured background. That might be nice. So let's get some black card. Okay. Now I just need to remember I did 9.5 by 13.9, so we're going to make it ½ centimetre larger. So we will do 14.4 by 10. Okay, let's see what that looks like. There we go. Yeah, And then I could choose one of these colours for the background. I quite like peach pie at the moment. It's one of my faves of the in colours. So we'll get our A4 piece of peach pie and we'll cut that on the long side at 14.9, and then we're going to score that in half at 10.5. Right. And then we can burnish it if I could find my bone folder. There it is. Okay. And then that makes that little bit of orange pop in the middle of the card. And you could have chose any of those colours and it would pick up on that bit from your card. So let's stick that down. And I'm just going to use a little bit of seal today, just because it's what I can reach on my desk if I'm being totally honest. And we'll put that on our layer. So I think masking is great, especially for beginner stampers or beginner crafters, even paper crafters, just because you don't have to have all the things. You don't even have to have the masking paper. You can just have a post-it note. As long as you've got something sticky, then that's perfectly fine. So yeah, I think it's really, and you can just try different ways of doing it. You know, practice. Sorry, I'm just going to cut a piece for the inside, and I'll do that again at 9.5 by 13.9. And we could do, just tie it in. We'll get the peach pie out again, and we'll get some of the hearts. I always tend to see, now you can see that's quite blotchy because there's so much ink. We'll turn that over and we'll get our spoon that I've now covered myself in ink with even. Okay, and we'll just smush that into it because it's very juicy. And we'll go again. That's a bit better. Okay, I've just stuck my finger in that. Let's get some alcohol sanitizer. Let's try and get rid of all of the excess from me. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we've got some different masking techniques. You've got one to give you a ripped look. You could try with different, you know, you could try ripping your masking paper with a ruler, sort of tearing it with a ruler so that it's fairly straight but a little bit jagged, or you could rip it like I did. You could cut shapes from it, so you could use your die cuts. For instance, let me have a think. These are the Friends for Life dies that go with the stamp set. You could use these hearts and you could stick them all over your page and then blend, and then when you take them off they'll be white underneath, or whatever the base color card is. So there's so many different ways of using the masking, but you actually don't need many things in your stash to get a good effect. So I hope that helped with some masking ideas, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.